for some reason, when we're broke, we think that these people are like ultra human. They know something we don't know. And then when you get close to people that have what you want, you're like, yo, this person is just like me. And when you realize that that person is just like you with just a little bit better information, it builds up that belief in you that you're like, bro, I just got to follow the steps.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Jorge Contreras podcast show, a podcast for entrepreneurs, real estate investors, and those who want to build an Airbnb empire with or without owning real estate. And today we have the one and only, the myth, the legend, Jay Monopoly, who's a multiple seven-figure entrepreneur in multiple industries, from real estate to now Airbnbs to NFTs and so many other things. Jay, what's going on, my brother?
My guy, I appreciate you having me on. Super excited to see where this conversation goes because I know we're about to drop some game for people, man.
I'm excited, man. I'm just setting the intention, and I hope people listen to the whole thing because I feel that their lives can be changed in just this one episode. It could change their life by 1 degree. 5 years from now, their life will be in a completely different place, right?
The fact that it's the little things that add up to the big things always.
I always tell people, like, if there's an airplane going from LA to Florida and it's off by 1 degree, you won't be able to tell at the beginning, but once it's supposed to be there, it'll be in a whole other different state. And sometimes that's all we need is to make a 1 degree, a 1% adjustment that compounds over time. And then boom, next thing you know, you're at a whole other level.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact.
Jay, if you could kind of, before we talk about the success and the results, maybe take us some of your upbringing or some of the challenges, kind of like before all the success, like kind of get everybody to be able to relate to you, with a little bit from a little bit about you.
Yeah, for sure. I'll go ahead and give you guys the short version of the story, but with enough details so you guys can really know, where I really started from, man. So I'm originally from Queens, New York. So I grew up in a, not the nicest neighborhood, but it wasn't the worst either, great parents, great upbringing. I just decided to do a whole bunch of bad stuff all on my own, so I was one of those kids. I was a troublemaker. My parents were like, yo, what the hell is wrong with you? So, by the age of 17, I was just getting in so much trouble in school with the law that I was like, you know what? I need to change my life. And at this time, I didn't know that I was actually emulating one of the rules of success, right? That you have to separate to elevate. So at 17 years old, I decided to join the Marine Corps. So I went to the Marine Corps, to get away from the negative environment that I was growing up in. And I started meeting different people. I started meeting people who came from money. It got my brain moving a little bit, And the real change in my life happened in 2017. So actually not too long ago, that's relatively close. Crazy story, right? So I went on my first deployment. I was living on a ship for a few months. So the way the ship works is for a whole month while you're on the ship, you don't have any contact with the outside world. No cell phone service, nothing. We would just be on Facebook for like 20 minutes a day on Sunday. That's it. It's the only contact with the outside world I had, right? So I'm over here bored as hell, bro, because I wasn't prepared. I didn't bring in enough books. I only had one album downloaded on my phone. I was listening to the same Kendrick Lamar album every single day, bro. Ready to blow my brain. And, I'm from New York, bro. I'm from New York. So, when you get enough guys together, you guys start talking shit about anything, right? So I'm from New York. I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. So everybody was like, yo, imagine Jay-Z drops an album by the time we get to Australia, because that's where we were going.
Right.
Like, imagine he drops an album. So we get to Australia. I swear it's crazy, right? It's a crazy story. The day we get to Australia, Jay-Z drops an album. And the album is titled 444, right? So I'm not sure if you're like go into angel numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm into those numbers. I'm a big numbers guy.
Yeah, so the album was called 444. So I'm like, wow, that's nuts. Great album. Huge Jay-Z fan, right? So I'm walking down Australia with have my headphones in, listening to it. And then we're looking for a place to get a drink, and I see this club. I look up, and the name of the club is 444.
Wow.
It's the same artwork that's on the album cover. So I'm like, what the hell? I walk in there. I'm like, yo, guys, do you guys know Jay-Z just dropped the album? And I swear, bro, they tell me, of course, he was here last night when he dropped it. Bro, mind blown.
Wow.
Literally mind blown. Couldn't wrap my head around it. I already had a few drinks, so even more mind blown. Right? So I'm like, what the hell? So I knew that I was gonna have to get back in the ship in 2 days. So I was like, you know what, man? Let me actually start looking into something, man. I really want to be prepared this time around. So I Googled books that Jay-Z has read, right? Because if somebody has the results that you want, you gotta think like they think.
That's
So I
right.
Googled books that Jay-Z has read. And he said that there was one book that he lived his life by, and it was called The Celestine Prophecy. Have you ever heard of that one?
Never heard of it.
It's a great book. It's like a better version of The Alchemist.
Wow. Okay.
So I
Dope.
read the book, and it basically said nothing in your life is a coincidence. Everything that you're following that you think is a coincidence is actually pushing you closer toward your life purpose. So you can fulfill your life purpose on this earth, right? The more you follow those coincidences, the closer you get. So I was like, wow, like that's so deep. I believe that because I'm like, yo, it's a coincidence that I'm reading this book right now, right? So by the time I finish this book, I'm already back on the ship. It's already been 2 weeks. I just finished the book. I only bought that one book because it was the only Jay-Z book, right? That he recommended. So I'm like, yo, what else can I read? What else can I read? I asked all my friends, I'm like, hey, you guys got any books I could read? And somebody hands me a real estate book. I don't even remember the name. That's how much the information went over my head. I don't
Right.
even remember the name. So all I got was this one thing. This one degree of change from the book that I got was it said that most millionaires own real estate. So I was like, well, I want to be a millionaire. So I had to figure out a way to own real estate. So it was August, right? I get off the ship again. I didn't tell anybody I was off the ship, right? I didn't tell anybody, nothing. The first person who calls me is my partner now, my partner Levi, right? And boom, I pick up the phone. I'm like, yo, how the hell did you even know I was in Australia? He's like, I didn't, bro. I just called you. I was like, oh, that's crazy. He goes, hey, bro, we got to get started in real estate. Oh,
Wow.
what the hell is what, bro? Mind blown. So because I just read this book, I just read a book that said nothing's a coincidence. I read a real estate book. He tells me we got to get started in real estate. I say, yo, bro, I'm all in. I don't even care what we got to do. I'm all in. So next thing he tells me, he goes, all right, bro, I found this coaching program. There's like 40 grand. I was like, oh, goddamn, what? And at this point, Brian, I'm green to this. I didn't even know what a coaching program was, but I had so much conviction because of the series of events that just took place that I said, bro, fuck it. Here's 20K. Boom. We went half on it. And this was now when I sent him the money, it was closer to September. By November, I already had bought my first property. It was a 5-bedroom house that I bought for myself. And by December, I already had my first fix and flip in Detroit going on completely virtually, bro. So just reading that one book changed my life. And that's really how I got started in real estate, man.
That's super powerful, man. Because a lot of times, like one of the things that this book, the one thing talks about by Gary Keller is this domino effect, right? How you could have a small little domino, and then the next domino is twice the size, and then twice the size, twice the size. And by the time it's like 30th, it's bigger than the Empire State Building. But if you knock down that small little domino, it basically knocks down the huge one. And I feel like a lot of people never accomplish success or never accomplish their goals because they're too scared to knock down that small domino. And all you did is you started with that one mindset book, and then the real estate book, and then you got a phone call, and then you bought a course, and then boom, and then you got the results. And it's only because you weren't stuck in that analysis paralysis where you have to know everything before you can do anything. You just knew enough to take action, and then boom, the results followed.
Of course, bro. Action always leads to more action. Like the way I look at it is like it's like going down a dark staircase, right? You could only see the next step in front of you. But once you take that step, you see the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. So you're not gonna see all the steps right in front of you. But the minute you start taking action, it's almost like the universe conspires to help you because you start seeing the next steps. You start remembering things. Oh, actually, I know this guy who does this also. You know, like your brain just works different once you start taking action.
Yeah, the other day, Ty was making this, was on this live, and I hopped in there for real quick. And he was, he's very like philosophical and listens to all these scientists and engineers and super smart people that he's learned from. And he was saying that your ability to create success is really about two things. One, your ability to take action fast, and then two, your ability to pivot as necessary. And so I always tell all my students and like everyone on social media is like, man, focus on progress, not perfection. Like perfection just creates procrastination, you know?
Right.
And I think that's one thing that's always helped me is like, if I just know like just a level 3 out of 10 information, just enough to know that I can go out there and do it, I just go do it. And people always say like, well, what if you fail? And I think my mindset is I don't look at failure as an end result. I look at it as a stepping stone in the direction that ultimately I'm going to be able to look back and it was part of the lessons and the blessings that helped me, get to my goal.
That's a fact. I will say it all the time, right? People think that failure is the opposite of success, but it's not. It's actually one of the ingredients. Failure is one of the ingredients to success.
Yeah. And then Jay, a question for you. What would you say is like a really important mindset or a belief or a philosophy, like other than the ones you just shared right now, that kind of have helped you build these multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses, like a mindset that anybody listening to this, it could be a doctor, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, an employee, just what's a mindset, a framework that really sticks out for you?
Man, I would have to say I think the biggest mindset shift is belief, right? And I know that sounds corny to people, but it's not. And let me tell you why. When you're just getting started, right? When you're just getting started and you're thinking about, you're broke and you're thinking about being multimillionaire, it seems impossible, right? But now you go to a meeting where there's other multimillionaires, right? Even if you're just there by chance, now it goes from impossible to improbable, right? And now you start networking with these multimillionaires, right? And now it's possible, right? Now you network with enough multimillionaires that it's possible. Now you start taking action on the advice they tell you, and now it's possible. So it goes from impossible to improbable to possible to probable. Like, yo, I'm with enough people that it's probably gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So the closer you get to people who are doing what you want to do, the more belief it builds up in you. Because for some reason, when we're broke, we think that these people are like ultra human. They know something we don't know. And then when you get close to people that have what you want, you're like, yo, this person's just like me. And when you realize that person is just like you with just a little bit better information, it builds up that belief in you that you're like, bro, I just got to follow the steps. So that mindset switch to actually believe in yourself, not think you believe in it, but really believe in yourself is the biggest thing. And the way you get that mindset switch is really to be around those people. Put yourself in those rooms where people have those results, because you're going to realize those people are just like you.
Yeah, you said something really important there, because a lot of times people focus way too much on what other people's opinions are about them, right? And I love what Les Brown says. He says, other people's opinions of you is none of your business, right? And so you could have the whole world could say, hey, you know what? I believe in you, Jorge, but like if I don't believe in myself, then all of that is worthless and it's trash. Like it's basically meaningless. But on the other side of the spectrum, everyone could say, hey, you suck, you're never going to make it. But if I believe in myself, that's the only vote that will ever matter to help me attain whatever outcome I want to create in my life.
100%. Anybody who has any level of success was called crazy at one point. And if you're listening to this and don't believe me, ask them. Ask anybody successful somebody told them at one point, they're like, bro, you're crazy, bro. Just don't do that. Bro, I heard that people take losses on that all the time. I wouldn't do it. Everybody's been called crazy, man. You got to be a little bit crazy to want to go risk, safe to get extraordinary,
I love it. Another thing to kind of tie into what you said earlier, Jay, is, I feel like too many people take advice from the wrong people. A lot of times we have people that reach out to us and they want to start, for example, their Airbnb, their real estate investing business. But then they're like, I don't know, Jorge, my mom, my cousin, my dad, my friend who was like a 9-to-5er at Walgreens or Jack in the Box, who doesn't have the results that they want to achieve, but they're going to the wrong people to attain this information and knowledge that they don't have. I always say, don't go to the plumber for electrical advice and vice versa. Don't go to the electrician and ask for plumbing advice. Like, only get advice from people that already have the result and outcome that you desire. And earlier, that's what you said, right? Surrounding yourself with these people that are already creating, living and breathing what you want to create. And if you spend enough time around them, you're only going to become more like them.
100%, bro. I mean, if you're in the barbershop long enough, sooner or later, you're going to get a haircut, right?
I like that. Hey, bro. So that's really good, man. Powerful mindset stuff, guys. And I'm glad we kicked off with that because, 99% of all success has everything to do with how your brain is wired. But let's talk a little bit about NFTs, crypto, real estate to kind of mix it up. I know you mentioned earlier that you've been kind of diving into the NFT space. Not sure if you're in the crypto space, but tell us a little bit about your experience with that.
Yeah, man. So it's actually funny. I got into the NFT space. If I'm not mistaken, I think I told you when offline 2021,
Yeah.
but I think it might have been before that, bro. I got into the NFT space. I started seeing the power behind it. And The Weeknd dropped his old albums as NFTs. I believe that might have been late 2020, actually.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I had bought them for $5. They're worth like $5,000 now.
Wow.
But that's when I first realized and started paying attention to what NFTs were, right? So 2021, I know the shitcoin phase came where everybody was buying like those coins with stupid names,
Shiba.
It was some crazy stuff, bro. Like
Right.
Coin, crazy shit, man. And I made a lot of money off of them, though. I'm not gonna lie. So I actually knew somebody who was they were on the marketing team of Kishu.
Oh shit.
They
Okay.
would tell me, yo, bro, we're about to get a massive billboard, bro. Put some money into this. Boom, I put some money, they get a billboard. I made some crazy money, and it was nuts, bro.
Yeah.
So around that time, when the bear market started to hit in 2021, a lot of those marketing people, they were on marketing teams of shitcoins, just left and started getting into the marketing team of different NFT projects that were dropping. Right. So me having the I had people that would reach out to me and be like, hey, bro, I'm doing this project. Do you have anybody who could get me a billboard? Do you have anybody that could get me, Tekashi 6ix9ine to make a post? Like stuff like, and I'm like, yeah, actually, I do have somebody. And I'm like, hey, I don't want to be paid in money. I want to be paid in NFTs because if this project blows up, cool. I'll be able to sell this for X amount, right? Basically double my money. And that's actually how I kind of got involved, bro. I was just taking NFT payments. These things will blow up, and I would sell during mint. Like when people were still minting, going crazy on that frenzy, I already had it at ground level, so I was able to sell, 2x, 3x, and if I was lucky, even 10x my money.
Powerful. And then for anybody that's kind of new to the NFT space, can you give just like a little short few sentences of what NFTs are in case anyone's wondering like, yo, what's an NFT?
So NFT stands for non-fungible token, right? So fungible just means that it could easily be one-for-one exchanged, right? So if I have a $1 bill and I go to the bank, I could give a $1 bill to the teller and I say, hey, I want to exchange this for another dollar, right? And they'll give me a different $1 bill. I don't care which $1 bill I get, right? Because it is fungible, right? I'll take anyone, right? But now, let's say Mike Tyson signs my $1 bill. Technically, that $1 bill can still only buy $1 worth of stuff, but it's no longer fungible to me because I could possibly sell this for $10,000, $15,000 to somebody who sees the value in it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So that's really it. It's just a non-fungible thing, meaning that there's something similar, but there's nothing quite like yours.
Right.
So there's different things that make an NFT project valuable. It could be a community, it could be the utility behind it, it could be the gaming thing behind it, or it could be the art behind it.
Right.
Those are kind of the four things that really add the value to that specific NFT.
And other than like real estate and NFTs, are you invested into crypto too, or it's not something that you've been getting into?
Yeah, it's funny actually, man. My crypto journey actually goes hand in hand with my whole deployment journey when I was on the ship in 2017. So actually during that time when I was on the ship, we stopped in Japan. I was actually in Japan for 3 months. I lived in Japan for 3 months, bro. I love it. Love Japan, by the way. And at the time, I had friends who were investing into crypto super early adopters. And they were like, bro, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. And I was like, what the hell is this Bitcoin shit, bro? That sounds like a scam, whatever. And then one day I'm in Japan and I'm at Lawson's. Lawson's is that's the 7-Eleven of Japan.
Okay.
Way better too, bro. They actually have warm food that's fire, crazy. And at Lawson's, I'm over here checking out, and I see a Bitcoin ATM. Mind you, this is 2017, bro. So like that kind of technology hadn't came to America yet. So I was like, oh shit, maybe I should pay attention. So I ended up spending 10 grand on Bitcoin, which when it was $1,500 a piece. I spent 10 grand. So I ended up getting like what, like seven Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Mind you, this was early 2017. This was around October. Well, no, I'm lying. So it was like September, October, right? So I ended up riding the whole wave up in December. So from when I got it to December, Bitcoin went from 1,500 to $19,000, bro.
Wow.
But mind you, I was only 21 years old at the time, bro. So I was green. I sold the money. I was like, damn, I'm rich, bro. And then it crashed. I don't know if you were into crypto at the time, but December 2017, that was the first ever big crypto bull market, bear market. So it went from 19,000 all the way down to 4,000. So I didn't take a loss technically, but it was enough to scare me. I was a new enough investor that it scared me, and I pulled my money out. I was like, I knew this shit was a scam. So this is 2017. I ended up getting paid for mentorship. Somebody paid me for mentorship in 2018 with 2 Bitcoins.
Wow.
And at that time, that was only $8,000. So I held on to those. I still have those 2 Bitcoin, but I mainly invest into Ethereum. My goal is to accumulate a lot of Ethereum.
What's your goal? How many Ethereums is your goal to accumulate?
I want to just, you know what is, bro? I can't put a dollar value on it. I don't like putting a dollar
Just
value.
As much as possible.
It defeats the purpose putting a dollar value in it, because I never plan on converting the Ethereum back into US dollar.
Right. Or I mean, like how many Ethereum do you have a goal of, owning?
I want to have a minimum of like 500 Ethereum.
Okay. Powerful. Yeah. So the interesting part is I actually started buying crypto. I got my first Bitcoin in the summer of 2016 for $600. Wow. And I've never sold mine. So I still have it. And I continue to buy in 2017, 18, 19. I always tell people that I take all my profits from all my business, from all my businesses. And I always either buy real estate, I buy crypto. And the only stock that I'm into is Tesla, but that's it. It's crypto, Tesla stock, or real estate. Anytime I get profits, like I keep enough money in the bank to pay the bills, an emergency fund, and then the rest, I always redeploy it back out in order to just create more assets, because, cash is trash and savers are losers. But
how old are you, bro?
I'm 34.
34.
You're 26?
I'm 25.
25. Okay.
I'm 25, so I'm always willing to take a little bit more risk than I should.
Absolutely.
I'm still young enough to do it. So
yeah, and the crazy part about Ethereum specifically, I actually ended up taking a major loss with that one. And the story goes like this: I started buying Ethereum when it was at $2 to $4 per coin, and so I invested like a couple thousand. I think it was like $7,000. And it turned into like $30,000 within like 45 days. And at the time, I had just finished reading a book that kind of just talked about the markets. And they talked about how anytime something goes up that fast, like it's going to crash. But they were talking about stocks, not crypto.
Yeah.
So I sort of misunderstood that. And so I ended up selling all my Ethereum, hundreds of Ethereums.
Wow.
Yeah, bro, it was crazy. And so then it went to like $30, $40, $50 per Ethereum. And I'm like, man, this thing never came back down. So I just kept buying and dollar cost averaging in. And I ended up with like a third of the portfolio that I would have had I just kept that. But those $3,000 would be a couple $1 million today.
Yeah, that's nuts, bro.
And so for me, yeah, that was a huge lesson about, hey man, stop playing the short-term game. Like, don't try to, time the market. And so now I'm a hodler. Everything that I buy, it's just long-term for the next 20, 25, 30 years, from real estate, the Tesla stock, the cryptos. Like I don't plan on selling any of it. The only thing I do is I borrow against my real estate because it's tax-free with the refi cash outs to just buy more assets. But Other than that, I just learned that wealthy people never sell their assets; they borrow against them.
Yeah, I'm never touching my crypto. I got a lot. The majority of my crypto is in cold storage.
Same here.
Cold storage, bro. God forbid I forget the phrase. The phrase I'm fucked, but
yeah, bro. Just last night, there's a story. I don't know if you've seen. There's a guy in like Europe that he bought like if he remembered his phrase, he would have like $220 million worth of Bitcoin because he bought thousands of dollars in like 2010, and he's already attempted the password 8 times.
And if he tried it one more time, it's gone forever.
Yeah, like I think at the 9th or 10th, it'll disappear if he gets it wrong. And this guy, like, he just looks like an average dude, but he's got $220 million worth of crypto that he can't access.
Yeah, and I read that, bro. Oh my God, bro. The anxiety that would cause me, dog.
That actually happened to me a couple years ago, actually at the peak when crypto in 2017 was like at $17,000, $20,000. There was in one of the words of my phrase, there's a word that's repeated twice. And I don't know what was going on, that I was kind of getting anxiety because I'm like, oh man, what's going to happen with this crypto thing? And people were saying that like Bitcoin Cash was going to overtake Bitcoin. So I ended up selling a bunch of my Bitcoin and started buying Bitcoin Cash, ended up losing a ton of money. Yeah, and then, exactly. What was that?
I said Bitcoin Cash ended up not doing anything.
Exactly. And long story short is I thought I made a mistake on the phrase. And so I kept guessing the word. And then it said, hey, if you get it wrong one more time, we're going to lock your account. And I was like, oh my God, I'm about to lose all my crypto. But luckily, the double word was actually part of how it was written. So then I was able to access it. But it's true, man. I mean, so many people have lost their phrases, their words, and then they haven't been able to access their crypto.
It's nuts, man. It takes a lot of responsibility to be your own bank, believe it or not. People don't realize that.
But just to kind of wrap up, Jay, if you could share anything in regards to like Airbnb, like I know it's something that you're just looking to get into. You're taking some of your assets or your cash. You're going to start buying property and doing Airbnb. Like, what are some of the reasons that you're inspired and motivated to, build this new empire on the Airbnb side?
Man, it just makes too much sense. You got a property. You take a property. Let's say you just take an average 2-2, right? $300,000 home, right? I think that's about the average in America right now, right? $300,000 home, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths for the average family, right? And you put it out as a rental, right? Let's say you buy it and you own this property, you put it out as a rental, right? The average of that, right? After you put something down, what is that? On average, you're making a $1,500 mortgage payment, give or take. You could probably rent that house. I mean, right now rents are crazy, right? You could probably rent that house for $2,500. That's about $1,000 net, which is cool, right? You're going to build equity long-term. Somebody else is paying off your property. That's one way to get wealthy. But then you take that same property, you spice it up a little bit, you throw that on Airbnb, bro, and you're probably netting like $3-4 grand a month now, right? So it's like, damn, the way that it's just, like you said, it's a disruptive technology, man. It's a disruptive technology right now where you can take the same property, put it on a different platform, and just make so much more money and get to that same goal that you had much faster. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's powerful. We always try to make it our go-to net a minimum of $2,000 per Airbnb. And I always tell people that with 3 to 4 Airbnbs, 80% of people in the US could quit their 9-to-5s, making anywhere from 60 to like 50 to like 80K. And, you look at some of the most disruptive, innovative technologies, right? Like Uber, who's replaced like taxis, Netflix, who's replaced Blockbuster. And now Airbnb is replacing these long-term tenant strategies and the hotel, strategy. And it's a disruptive, innovative technology. Like I remember when I went to Business Mastery, Tony Robbins training back in summer of 2017, and he said something that was super powerful that I always remember. He said that the 2 most important things in business is marketing and innovation. Right. And the cool thing about Airbnb is that they do all the marketing for you. You don't have to do any marketing. You don't have to do any ads. You don't need to have a website. You don't need to collect credit card payments. And it's an innovative, disruptive technology, which allows entrepreneurs and investors to make 5 to 10x at what they would make from a long-term tenant, just doing, for that regular cash flow of a couple hundred a month.
Facts, bro. Facts. It's like it's a no-brainer, bro. So I can't wait to actually come back to this interview a few months from now, and see how much the business has grown, man. Because I plan on really taking some of this money, getting some properties, bro, and really blowing it up.
So the last question to wrap up, Jay, is for anybody that's watching this and they want to become an entrepreneur, they want to become an investor, but they're hesitant, they're having a hard time maybe just taking action or even believing in themselves. What kind of mindset, game can you share with them so that they can believe in themselves and really take action and become the greatest version of themselves?
Look, man, I'm going to give you guys some actionable advice, right? I'm going to give you guys some actionable advice right now that I actually have to take myself periodically. Probably going to do it as soon as we get off of this, right? It's going to sound crazy, but I promise you, it just works. I promise you. Get into the flow state. Have you heard of that, bro?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Get into that flow state where things are just right out. So this is the actionable steps I'm going to give you guys, right? If you're listening to this, get off this call and go clean your house. Go clean your house. Make it spotless. Make that house spotless, right? Go to your closet and this, you're probably gonna need a few hours for this. I'm not gonna lie. And throw out all that old shit that you've been holding on to that you don't even wear anymore, right? Go to your car, clean out your car. You probably got some fries under the seats. You got some fries under the seats. You got the Chick-fil-A thing open right in the middle, right? You forgot to throw it out. Throw all that shit out. Then go back upstairs to your clean house. Your bed is made, right? And take out a piece of paper and make a list of what doesn't work. What's currently not working in your life? What is not working at the moment? Right? What relationships aren't working that's holding you back? What habits are not working that are holding you back? Right? Make a list of what is not working. And throw it out because it's not working. Right? Why are we holding on to all those things that are not working that we know are not working? Right? Then take another clean sheet of paper and make a list of what is just coming to your mind present moment, right? Because now at this point, right, you should be flowing. You should be flowing by the time you get to this step, right? And write a list of the things that come to your mind, right? What business do you want to do? What is it going to take for you to actually be successful in that business, right? And that's you writing a list, thinking clearly as your higher self, and start taking immediate action on that, right? Start taking immediate action. Success loves speed, right? So take immediate action on what you know you got to do. Once you know what's not working, you're going to make a list of what you know would work for you. And if you know that would work for you, why delay taking action on those steps? So that's what I recommend people do, man, because you start taking those actions while you're in that mindset. I promise you, like you said, those 1 degrees are going to start, making a difference almost right away. I promise you. And I have to do that in my own life periodically. And I'm sure just as you there's certain things in your life you have to do periodically, right? Because what gets you to this level won't get you to the next.
What got you here won't get you there.
Facts.
Beautiful. That's a way great to end it. Hey, Jay, thank you so much for coming on. And how can people connect and find you?
Instagram, JAY.monopoly, J Monopoly. YouTube the same. I'm not big on YouTube yet, but stand by. This year is gonna go crazy. I'm also dropping a podcast with Jorge. We got to do an episode swap. You got to hop on mine, man. The Better Way podcast on streaming on any streaming platform. And yeah, guys, I can't wait to connect, man.
Awesome. With that being said, ladies and gents, if you guys go to the description down below, I do have a free Airbnb ebook that's completely free. Just put your email so we know where to email it to you guys. And that way you guys can learn how to create Airbnb cash flow producing assets with and without owning real estate. And we'll see you guys on the next podcast.